Welcome to the first episode of my Quest Only Ironman. With this account I will be doing something I haven't seen anywhere else on YouTube, so I hope it will be interesting to see what challenges await. With this account I will be restricted to only training around the objectives of quests. Now, I do consider Tutorial Island a quest, despite it not being listed as a quest in the quest log, because it clearly has a quest start icon at the quest guide, and otherwise I would not be able to gain experience on the island because of my rules. So because of this I will be training my levels to as high as possible, which is 3 while in Tutorial Island. Before we get to the rules of the account, I apologize for the RuneLite sidebar you can see now. It will only be there for the first few clips. Now the rules for this account are as follows. I can only do one quest at a time, so I have to complete a quest, Miniquest or RFD subquest before moving on to another one. I'm not allowed to train any skills whenever I'm not inside one minimap's distance of the quest objective, which means eyes on the prize, always keep sight of whatever the next quest objective is. Now, stores don't count as objectives, otherwise Sheep Shearer, for example, would give me access to every single general store. Non-quest boss monsters do count as objectives though, but only if they drop a unique item specifically obtainable from them. For example, if I need a raw chicken, I'm allowed to train near chickens, and if I need cowhide, I'm allowed to train near cows, etc. If I need bones or ash for a quest, however, I'm not allowed to train near any monster that drops those, because those aren't unique drops from a specific monster. Doing any activity that does not grant any experience is allowed at any time, so I'm allowed to buy from shops, take ships, random events, etc. While doing no quest at all. Now, to elaborate on what counts as within range of one minimap, training on a different floor above or below the objective is allowed, as long as the objective is still within the range. This does not include dungeons, because I don't consider a dungeon to be a different floor but a separate area. Other realms such as Puro, my POH, room crafting altars, etc. do count as within range if the entrance portal is within range of an objective. So during Cook's Assistant when gathering wheat, I can train inside Puro through any crop circle. And as this implies, if there are multiple locations for an objective, or multiple objectives at once, training is allowed near any of the objectives. Now for the goals of this account, I want to achieve a quest cape while staying within these rules. If I do get stuck unable to progress any further with any other quests, I might have to make an exception, but I will try to prevent that in any way possible. I will also make this account a hardcore Ironman, as you can see here, but not dying is only a secondary goal. I will allow myself one exception to make it possible to do some otherwise impossible things, such as achievement diaries. I am allowed to get 50 experience from one-off actions for every quest point I obtain. If you think this exception should be different, please leave a comment and I'll have a look at your suggestions and take them into consideration. With that all being said, I think we can let the real content begin. I'll finish Tutorial Island and move on to Lumbridge by talking to the wizard here. And there we go. We're in Lumbridge. I'll show you the stats I start with after finishing Tutorial Island. It's basically just level 1 with barely any experience in every combat stat, buried 1 bone, no rune crafting experience, and then some level 3 skills I've been able to train on the island. While doing research for this account, it was still a non-member account, as you could see at the stats. And in the meantime I did collect some runes from the guide a couple of times, as you can see here. Now I decided the first quest I'll do is Mistling Mysteries, because it only gives access to some very low level training methods. Because it's located outside the regular world map for the most part, it's only useful to me in this part here in the Lumbridge Swamp. I'll be starting here by getting level 20 fishing to be able to do fly fishing as soon as I do a quest near a river. I was initially planning on cooking my caught fish by burning some logs I would chop in the swamp over there, but sadly, as you can see here, the tree is just outside of the view of the quest start, so I guess I can't chop this tree. I think that means I have to bank all my fish, so I'll just walk back and forth then and do my cooking later. So when banking, I noticed there are 4 sets of logs right on the floor next to the bank. So then I guess I'll bring my tinderbox along with my net and use those 4 logs to cook my fish right near the fishing spot anyway. And then I'll hope 4 logs is enough to cook an entire infantry. So right after getting level 7 fishing, I got my first inventory full of fish, which means I can burn the first set of logs and cook, or more likely also burn, my shrimps. And after the first 4 sets of logs, it turns out, yes, 4 logs is just enough at these low levels to get a full inventory of cooked shrimps. And of course, in between fishing runs, I also occasionally grab some more free runes from the guides here, because those might come in handy in some future magic training. And there we go! The first goal is reached, 20 fishing, and with that the ability to fly fishing. Now let's finish off this inventory and move on to our next objective, which will be mining. Funnily enough, I got another cooking level, which brings us to cooking level 24, and right afterwards I got another fishing level to 21, and then at the end of the inventory I finished off by getting 14 fire making. Now my next objective is to mine as much copper and tin as is needed to get to 15 smithing, which would mean that both my mining and my smithing is high enough to mine and smith iron. And the reason I want that is because then I'll be able to train in a lot more locations. And here you can see me reaching the goal I set in the XP tracker, which would tell me I've got enough ores in the bank. So after finishing this inventory I'll be going back to the bank and dropping off all these ores. As you can see here, with this inventory done, I've got 139 ores of each in my bank, which should be enough to get to 15 smithing. In the meantime I also got 1 emerald and 1 ruby, which will be useful, and with that I've finished all of the low level goals I wanted to finish during the quest, so I guess I can start doing the actual quest now. Let's start by talking to Abigail at the start of the quest. And let's not get attacked by a giant rat. Would be a shame to lose hardcore status from that one. Okay, so let's talk to Abigail. Board the boat. Open the door, or not. Get a bucket. Empty the barrel. Watch cutscene. Empty the barrel. Get the key. Open the door for real this time. Watch the cutscene. Grab the note, read the note, grab the knife, open painting, grab the key, grab tinderbox, light the candles, ignite the gunpowder, casually walk away, climb over the rubble, start the cutscene, grab the note, read the note, play dead, D, E, A, and D, grab the key, take the Bandle's God Sword, grab the note, read the note, enter the gem code S D Z E O R, grab the final key and start the boss fight. 1 hit, 2 hits, and 3 hits. Skip the cutscene, then grab the knife and kill Abigail, then casually walk away again, and finish the quest. And that's the first quest points. And that's 6 crafting. And I'm back at the bank now with 3 more gems in the bank, and with this quest complete, so I'll close off this video. The next video is going to be of sheep shearer, so get hyped. I'll do that one next because I'll be able to do some nice things such as smithing, some thieving and some combat training, all focused around the sheep pen and the spinning wheel. I'll also be doing some woodcutting and firemaking training. Now before I go, I'd like to ask you if you think my exception to allow 50 experience per quest, as mentioned before, is a good way to have this exception, or if there's some other way I should implement it. Please leave a comment with your opinions. Also, I need to tell you, or perhaps you already noticed it yourself, all of this footage is a few months old. I just never took the time to edit it all to a first video, and because of that the first month of gameplay I have is already done, so I can't change anything about it. It also has some old features of RuneScape, such as the Insidious house before the rework. Thanks for watching, see ya!